Georgia has a problem with public education, but it can be fixed. Let's look at the numbers. Statewide elected officials in Georgia have chosen to underfund our public schools. Georgia spends almost $2,000 per pupil less than the national average. It's one of the few states that does not provide additional funding for students living in poverty, even though more Georgia children live in poverty than in 43 other states. And while the American School Counselor Association recommends a ratio of 1 counselor for every 250 students, Georgia only provides enough funding to pay for 1 counselor for every 450 students or more. On top of that, between 2003 and 2022, Georgia cut $10 billion from public schools. To meet students' needs, Georgia should be providing $760 million more to schools. But underinvestment is just one part of the problem. Georgia sends a significant amount of public money to private schools in the form of vouchers. Georgia currently diverts $120 million a year to private school vouchers. That's enough funding to pay the salaries of 2,640 public school teachers. Vouchers don't only undercut public school funding, they also subsidize discrimination, exacerbate school segregation, and undermine democratic control of schools. Unlike public schools, which are required to welcome and serve all students, private schools are free to reject anyone they want. And they routinely do reject students with disabilities, students from low-income families, students who are LGBTQ+, or have parents who are, and students who don't fit. Vouchers began as a means for southern states, including Georgia, to defy the Supreme Court's order in Brown v. Board of Education to desegregate public schools. Evidence today shows that vouchers are more likely to increase segregation. Unlike public schools, where parents and community members have a voice through elected school board members and open public meetings, there is no community accountability in private schools. Research also shows that students who take vouchers do no better and often do worse academically than students in public schools. Instead of addressing real problems like underfunding of public education, Georgia lawmakers attempt to divert attention to non-existent problems. Last spring, the Georgia legislature passed, and Governor Kemp signed, a package of divisive concepts laws with vague prohibitions against indoctrinating students. These laws forbid teaching about systemic racism, allow parents to bring unsubstantiated complaints about curriculum for school board review, and make it possible for parents to challenge a local school board's decision at the State Board of Education. We know the effects of these laws. They take power away from elected school boards. They have a chilling effect on teachers. They discourage students from being critical thinkers, able to confront a range of views and ideas, and they make it harder for students of color specifically to see themselves in the curriculum. We need to remember, these aren't divisive concepts. They may be uncomfortable truths about our society, but tackling them together will lead to unity, not division. Instead of underfunding and undercutting public schools, now is the time for Georgia to step up support for students and teachers. Learn how Georgia can do that in the next video from Fund Georgia's Future, a coalition fighting for a just education system with fair and full funding. Stay informed and apply to join at www.fundgeorgiasfuture.com.